day, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I have to say, Lord of the Rings are some of my favorite movies of all time, so it is a pleasure and it's really cool to be able to talk with you today.
Great to talk to you.
Jumping right on in, I really do appreciate what you've done for this junket, bringing over the facilities from New Zealand.
This is actually, this is where I live now. I got this. This is in Claridge's. I live here.
Right, exactly. This is, I've done a lot of junkets over the last few years, and this is probably the most deluxe room I've ever seen.
Isn't it great?
It's unbelievable.
Well, this is kind of what I love about New Zealand and all the guys that we work with down there. It's like they just invent the game. They don't just follow the rules. They're like, okay, we're doing, one of the Hobbits is going to be doing interviews. Let's just bring Hobbit in. So they just build the Shire in a room.
Right.
It's brilliant, right?
It's
Who else would do that?
Peter Jackson.
Yeah, that's it.
That's really it. So you got to do the song.
Yeah.
For this movie, and I know it's a little generic, but talk a little bit about how it came about and what was that phone call like? Did Peter call you?
So I got a phone call because, I wrote a song in Return of the King,
Yeah.
The Edge of Night. So they wanted to use that in the trailer. So I got the phone call about that. And I thought it's a great idea because I suppose as they're getting to the end of the Hobbit trilogy, they're trying to get the movies to set as 6 movies, which I think is perfect. That's the way it should be. So I thought it was a great idea. And then a couple of weeks later, I got another phone call with the idea that maybe we could do a song, Fran Walsh, Pete's partner, and we could write together. And we talked to Howard Shore, and he thought it was a good idea. Before I knew it, I was on a plane to New Zealand, watching The Hobbit and writing a song.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
I know, crazy.
Yeah, well, also because I'm sure, as someone who was so involved with the Lord of the Rings, that I'm sure you wanted to be something involved with The Hobbit.
Yeah.
And it just found a way.
And in some ways, it's the perfect thing. I was a musician before I was an actor, and I've always played, and I still play in a band, Bee Cake. We've got a couple of albums. We're working on our new album. So it was. I wouldn't like to have seen Pippin in these movies. So it's actually perfect to be a musician in them. I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. To be there at the start and then to be there right at the very end is just, it's a dream.
Lord of the Rings, for me, it means a lot to me. The all 6 movies, but especially the original, the first 3 movies. I'm sure that you've met a lot of fans along the way who see you, and I'm going to use the term freak out. Because Lord of the Rings means a lot. Do you have any good stories or anything that or is it just constantly people just always want to say how much they enjoy these movies?
There's a lot of that, and there's the craziness, obviously, and, people with tattoos of your face and things like that. But the really cool thing I noticed this time, the fans had an evening in a pub before the night before the premiere. And I thought, I need to go along because this is sort of the end, And I went along to this pub, and obviously it was mayhem. It was crazy.
Now, did they know you were coming? Or were you surprised
no,
them?
they said that some of the cast might come, and so they didn't know who was going to be there. So it was a surprise, and it was mayhem. Obviously, it was mental, and people dressed up and crazy. But there was people there that I remember from 12 years ago who were in the red carpets for our movies, and they're still there, and now they're married and got kids, and they've changed. But I'm like, oh my God, I remember you, and they're like, yeah, we're still here. We're still loving the Middle Earth movies.
I'm assuming that there were at least a few embarrassing moments from when you were in New Zealand filming Lord of the Rings. Is there one or two that you still regret, like just really embarrassing stuff, or not at all? No. I mean, things.
Like
a flub on set or...
Oh, there was a lot of that. I remember once my trailer was getting emptied out and the poo and pee machine came loose and my poo and pee was everywhere. That's not a good, that's not on set, but it's still embarrassing.
That's a winner.
Right?
Yeah, you have it.
There was a lot of stuff like that went on. It was great fun, We're all kind of trying to make the greatest film we could, and the camaraderie of the whole thing and how we all joined together was pretty amazing.
I have to wrap, but I have to ask you one last thing. If you could go back in time and ask Tolkien any one question, is there something that you've always wanted to know or always wondered about, or what would you ask him if you could?
God, so many things. Were the Tooks Scottish? Because I think they were. They were from the north of the Shire. They invented golf. They were the leaders of the clans. It'd be good to know if he meant that.
That's a very good question. Thank you so much for your time, and it is honestly a pleasure to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for real, man. As I